Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So I'll hand here, head teacher at Prendergast Valley School. I think I've got a couple of people here that have joined me already. Hopefully, in the next few minutes, a few more people will join. I'm delivering this for the first time on a new kind of Teams platform. So I have in the past used something called Teams live events, and then it's the first time I'm trying it on a new platform called Teams Marketplace, which I'm hoping will all work nice and smoothly. Yeah, we'll give a few minutes to see how many people join us. Normally I have about 30 or so, but looks like it's quite slow this evening. So give it 5 minutes or so. Okay, about nearly 5 minutes in now, 4 minutes in. It's only got one guest. So you're very welcome, wherever you are. And I will truck on and do a version of my event because recorded, so we'll be able to save the recording and publish it to a wider audience. So let's see if I can get myself organised with my presentation, which is only a very brief kind of document. So the way this normally works is I do a very brief presentation, just of a few things that are going on in the school at present that might be of interest and that might kind of spark a few questions or queries. yeah, I'll do that, and then I go to questions and answers, go to the Q&A, and answer any questions that might arise. So yeah, I will do that. So let me see if I can get my presentation up first of all. Share. Hopefully. Okay. So just move that bit here somewhere. So yeah, a couple of things that we might want to talk about. So the first is Year 9 options, and we've been making some changes to the options process in our school in Key Stage 4, so moving from 3 options to 4 options. So talk about that very briefly. School uniform, which I know is always a hot topic, and particularly shorts, which was requested by a number that I look at that possibility by a number of parents. So I'm just going to let you know where I'm at with that. Module 2, academic report to parental community. So that's kind of term 2, if you like. We call it module 2, and talk about that and the changes that we made to those reports. Staffing for 2024 and governance and new local governing bodies. Just to give you some updates on how all of that is happening. So let's start with the first one, which is the Year 9 options and the movements we've been making there. We have, since I've been head teacher here, had an offer whereby in Year 9 students opt for 3 option blocks. So everybody does English language and English literature, everybody does maths, everybody does core and additional science. So those 3 subjects taken together are worth 5 GCSEs, and then we would have an additional 3 options, and for a number of students we'd be recommending that they do either history or geography for one of those options, and either French or Spanish for another option, meaning that students had kind of one other free option. For the last couple of years, some families have, said that they felt that was quite restrictive, and they would have preferred to be able to choose 2 additional options. But it does require some quite significant changes to the way in which we organise the school. Even though it does, we felt that it would be a good thing to offer 4 options if we could, and we hoped that in doing so, it would mean that more students might select qualifications in the creative and performing arts and expressive arts, so art, drama, music, which were kind of suffering a little bit of a deficit of students opting for them. Yeah, we went out to options. We had our options events before February half term, and then in that period from February half term across to Easter, got the options from our Year 9s in a 4 option block, and had a look at those, and yeah, it's done what we hoped it would do in terms of got more students taking music, more students taking art, more students taking music, more students taking subjects like sociology and citizenship and business studies and media studies. So a whole range of subjects which were not attracting huge numbers of students are now attracting many more students now that we've got 4 options. So history and geography are still obviously very popular, as are French and Spanish, but yeah, got some more diversity in our options, which is what we were hoping for. So that's really good. We're in the process of writing a timetable. It will be a 2-week timetable, so there'll be an A week and a B week, if you like, different timetables on an A week to a B week. So in an A week you might have English and period 4 on a Monday, and a B week you might have maths period 4 on a Monday. So it'll be different week to week, but predominantly that kind of changing timetable will only be for year 11 when it gets there, year 10, year 9, and we're hoping to continue with a 1 week timetable in year 7 and in year 8. But my timetabler, Miss Najo, who's deputy head teacher, is trying to work all of those things out at the moment. But it's been an interesting process. It's been one which has been quite a big process of change. It's gone quite well, and we're still in the process of nailing that down and finishing that. But we're looking forward to it coming into effect, and we think it will make a difference for students when they go into Key Stage 4, just have that slightly wider range of subjects. Students are also in Key Stage 4, of course, study the core PE offer and the core PSHE offer as well. Okay, what else might we talk about? So school uniform shorts. A number of families have parents of last year in the heat waves that we suffered spoke about, you know, why aren't we able to wear shorts? Why aren't students able to wear shorts? And a request that we consider that for the school uniform. I have been looking at that, doing a little bit of work on that. It is very, very unusual for secondary schools to allow students to wear shorts. I'm just doing a bit of research. I only found about 2 or 3, you know, comprehensive secondary schools, if you like, that where students are in the secondary phase are able to wear shorts. And doing some research, it's predominantly because of the lack of availability. Well, it's chicken and egg really, but lack of availability of what I would call tailored shorts for school uniform shorts. It's quite common in the primary phase, less so in the secondary phase. However, we are moving to introduce the ability for students to wear school uniform shorts. Most kind of mainstream high street providers like Marks and Spencer's or Next or Matalan or similar, they only really offer the shorts from age 13 to 14. And we're looking at Whereabouts Schoolwear, who say they will offer a similar kind of black tailored short for ages up to 15, 16. I'm sure some of our students that are you know, bigger in year 11, you know, they shorts say 15 to 16 might not fit them. And yeah, I don't think there's any other kind of shorts on the market that do what need to be done. I can't be held responsible for the limits in manufacture. So yeah, it will be, you know, the standard of a short will be the standard, and we'll open it up to students who wish to avail themselves of it. I'll speak with the student council, who are also pushing for shorts to be made available to them. But you know, the usual routines will apply. It will be a tailored uniform shorts. Students expect to be wearing school uniform socks and their leather shoes with it. I've always thought they wouldn't be a particularly popular option in terms of the, you know, the look of it. I don't think it's a particularly fashionable look that young people would want to go for, but in the hot weather, when it is very warm, people may well decide it's something that they want to do. So that's something that we are moving forward with, and the idea is that would be kind of available after May half term, if it's something that the student council do agree that they want to move forward with. So yeah, it would only be uniform available during that May half term, the final half term of the academic year, when the school is at its warmest. So something else we're looking at then is school uniform and shorts. Happy to talk about that. Any questions? Module 2 academic reports to our parental community. We published just before Easter our Module 2 reports. For a number of year groups, that was the first of the reports they received. So in year 7, for example, it was the first of the reports that families received from the school. For other year groups, and year 8, for example, it was the second. So they received the Module 1 report and then the Module 2 report. There were changes that we made in the Module 2 academic reports, in that we made them tougher to get the higher grades. We basically increased the grade boundaries and change the bell curve, as it's called, in terms of the normative distribution of grades. That's because the old one that we used was a kind of normative distribution that was taken kind of prior to COVID, and we needed to update the distribution. So we've updated it, but it did mean that there was a little bit of a falling back. So students in year 8 that were, might have been getting confident in all areas now might be receiving secure in all areas, because it's more difficult to get confident. It doesn't mean that they've got any worse. It means that the boundaries got a bit harder. I think it's going to be a kind of an ongoing piece of work, this, in Key Stage 3 in particular. Key Stage 4, it's fine, it's GCSE boundaries, and we'll just continue to work to those. But in Key Stage 3, I think there's going to be a kind of a longer iterative piece of work to get those Module 2 reports right. Got a new head of Key Stage 3 coming in to join us in September, and that will be something on her plate. Yeah, continuing to do some work there, but always grateful for feedback on the reports. A few other changes we made as well, thinking about average position in the class and so on and so forth. I hope gives families the information that they need. So yeah, happy to take any questions there. Staffing for 2024, I know in some of the Meet the Head Teacher presentations I've done in the past, people have been very anxious about staffing. We know that there is a national crisis in staffing in education, and that a number of schools are struggling to recruit staff. We are broadly we're staffed for 2024, September 2024. We have had some resignations. We have had some interviews to replace those, and been successful in doing so. We're not quite at the end of that process. 31st of May is the final resignation date. We may have further resignations between now and the 31st of May, which would provide vacancies for us that we would then need to fill. But I'm confident that the school will be staffed in its entirety for 2024, both in the primary and secondary phase, but focus particularly on the secondary phase. So again, yes, it's a really challenging environment out there. It's hard to find great teachers. It's always disappointing when you lose great teachers, but sometimes that does happen. Teachers move on for new opportunities and new horizons, and we benefit from teachers that are leaving schools to come to us for new opportunities and new horizons as well. As part of that churn, we've made some really great appointments. We've lost some good people as well, but we are staffed for 2024. And then finally, governance. The new local governing boards are in place and are working well. We've had link governors for safeguarding and pupil premium being identified. We're seeking in new governing boards to identify governors for the primary phase in EYFS, for personal development and careers, and potentially for equalities, diversities and inclusion as well, so that those are the things that we really want to make sure governors are focused on and understand the impact that we're having in SEN, in pupil premium, in careers and personal development, and in the provision of a equitable and inclusive curriculum and school experience. So I think that they're all important things, and you go on the school website and indeed the Federation website, and there are pictures and bios of all of the new local governing boards. So that's some of the things that are going on in the school at the moment. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to open back up. And again, I haven't got too many people that have attended this time, so I need to get my marketing strategy more effective. Got a couple of people here. If anybody wants to do a Q&A, I'll open it up now. If anyone's got any questions, they're welcome to ask them. I'm happy to respond. If I don't get a question in a couple of minutes, I will assume that that there are no questions, and I will bring the presentation to an end and think about how I can advertise it more successfully, more effectively moving forward. So I'll just give it a minute or so to see if anybody wants to ask any questions. You should be able to just click the Q&A link, and then you can ask a question on live on the screen. Okay, don't think there are any questions. Hoping that people can see the Q&As opened up, and it certainly what looks like it's working from my end. I don't think there are any questions this time around. So I am going to draw this Meet the Head Teacher to a close. Thank you very much, everybody. And I will see you at the next Meet the Head Teacher, which will be sometime after May half term, I think. But look forward to seeing you then. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.